Hey, UChoobeLion here. As you can see, I'm on BeantownBullys.net. My previous videos kind of touched on a certain member here, and he invited me over. He doesn't probably remember it, to be honest, but he invited me over, and I kind of ignored it. I said I personally didn't want to sign up and be in his little world because he could control what I say and do. Now, in fairness, he's not done that, so credit to him. I have spoken to a user called Mrs. C, who kind of runs the website with him, and she's been fine with me, no problems there. I don't feel like the website has changed very much. She told me it has. They said they no longer change people's posts and threads like I showed you in a previous video. But what I decided to do, I had a few sort of people on YouTube message me and ask me, am I going to do any follow-ups? Am I going to ask these guys any questions directly on the board? And I wasn't really going to. I kind of saw it as the issue was sorted, but I decided to join up and create an introduction thread. Just basically, I'll show you, called UChoobeLion is here. Ignore these for a moment because these are the latest posts. However, the introduction thread ended up being 20 pages, and most of that was just in one day, 16 or 17 pages in one day, I think. And all I wrote was, after many months of getting various messages via YouTube, and in a thread that mysteriously vanished here on BTB, I have decided to join the forum in the hope of answering a few issues that people have with me and my videos. I decided to take Carpet23 on his word that he would be mature about this and just wanted a more one-on-one platform in which to correspond with me. So here I am, far away. Now, it started off okay. Mrs. C was responding to me, asking a few questions, mainly about the photo of her son in the previous video, which has now been removed from here. And it was going alright until a certain member, Rape Ape, who I may have shown something from in the past from the YNC. It was just mainly just abuse, just trolling, that's all. Nothing really good was said, really, nothing substantial. It was just troll behaviour. So I didn't really care too much. I just batted it away, really. Another guy, Scouse Nazi, sort of stepped in, and from what I can gather from him, he really does. He is anti-Jewish. Everything that this guy does or says is anti-Jewish. If there's a problem in the world, it was probably the Jewish that done it. Now that's his way of thinking, And basically, without going through every single post, there was a bit of a debate between us two about something called evidence. Right now, I said to him, look, unfortunately, a lot of what he was saying was unfounded when he said it, and I'm including Ray Babe in this as well. When they said it, I don't know enough about history to just instantly say no, you're wrong, or yeah, you're right. So what I do is I go off and I research it. What I do is I research it from unbiased third-party sources that have nothing to gain either way. And I see what the history is there, I see what the stats are, and not just from one site, but loads of websites, lots of books, things like that, right? And then I come to the conclusion of what's right and what's wrong, and where the evidence leads. Now, unfortunately, when I did come back and I said to these guys, look, actually you're wrong, they didn't want to know. They were like, no, you're bullshitting, that you're wrong. Well, no, actually that's the facts. Unfortunately, they didn't really want to listen. Now, and there came a time when I was making one post, but answering like three separate people. There was so much going on. I'm sure if I missed a few threads, I apologise. I wasn't ignoring a question. It was just there was so much happening that by the time I posted, people had posted 2 or 3 more times, so I had to try and catch up. But For example, this guy. I mean, the thing that I brought up was, one of them got an award for basically being racist. Right now, they claim it's white pride. However, I think when you click on it, we must secure the existence of our people and a future for white children. Well, sorry, but it's a racist slogan. Any way you want to twist it, it is. Right? Now, I brought that up, and he asked me, would I have the same issue if it was a Black Pride logo or Brown Pride logo, or the Star of David? Well, yeah, I would. If racism is racism, it's not just white v black or black v white or whatever. Racism is racism regardless of colour if it's against another race. So yeah, I do have a problem with racism, mainly because I don't see the point. Hating somebody for something that they cannot control is idiotic. It shows a very, very huge lack of education to me. You can't cast everybody under the same image, really. It's stupid. Now, this went on for a long time, and the issue of Karl Marx came up, and he said that communism was invented by a Jew, and I asked him, do you mean Karl Marx? Now I'm not quite sure where the post is, but I said, do you mean Karl Marx? And I pinpointed out to him that he's not Jewish. Karl Marx wasn't Jewish. His parents converted to Christianity. When he was born, they raised him as an atheist and allowed him to choose his own path. And they didn't quite understand this. They went, well, no, hang on, his bloodline was Jewish, therefore he's Jewish. Well, it doesn't quite work that way. Yes, I know. What he was trying to explain to me was, well, the way the Jewish faith is, that's how they class Jewish lineage. They say if your parents are Jewish, then you are. Well, fine, you can say that if you want, but it doesn't make it true, and that's what I was trying to get through to him. It doesn't actually make it true. Karl Marx was an atheist. His ideas were atheist. He hated religion. He felt that religion was too involved in social activity. Now, regardless of if his parents were Jewish, or regardless of if his nan or his granddad or his great-granddad was Jewish, he never led a Jewish life. He led an atheist life. But of course, Scouse Nazi being Scouse Nazi went, no, he was a Jew, all Jews are nasty, and that's about it, really. He never really wanted to look into it anymore. So I knew I was on a bit of a losing battle, really, when freely available evidence that's in more places than just Jewish sources, as he asked, or as he said, gets sort of swatted away as a non-issue. Well, you can't just swat evidence away. Evidence is there for a reason. It's how the whole world is kind of worked out. It's based on evidence. No, evidence isn't always right, but it doesn't mean you can just add in your own because it makes you feel better. That's where religion comes in. You can't prove it, but it makes you feel better. Well, fine, but it doesn't make it true, does it? You have to prove something before it's true. Now, when I brought this up to him, he said, well, hang on, all you're doing is swatting away my sources. You're saying that my sources are not unbiased, and yet you're fine. Yours are great. Well, yeah, they were, and the reason being is that he sent me to a Jewish Zionist website for an unbiased view on Jews. Well, obviously it's not going to be unbiased. The recent video, I'll jump straight to the last page here today. I don't know if he's responded to me. I replied not that long ago. I'm not sure if he has, but no, not yet. Where is it? This one here. I put that I never said. Well, okay, we brought up the issue of the Holocaust, and he said, well, it still wasn't as big as Bolshevik. And I said, no, that's fair enough. It wasn't, but I never said that the Holocaust was the largest, disaster in the world. I never said that. We just happened to be talking about it. And I said it's not a popularity contest. And the fact is, there are stats out there, there are scanned documents from around the time of when Bolshevik happened, and it shows that the Jewish element of the I can't remember what the name was, but basically the communist element that caused it, they were actually only 5% of the communist element. Obviously, most of them were taken up by Russians, but there was also Hungarians. There was Finland in there as well, Estonians, which a lot of them you'd expect because obviously geographical location. But there was a few, excuse me, a few that surprised me. Now, despite the Jewish element only making up 5% of that communist party, he still blames them for what happened. He says that, the Jewish killed X amount of millions of people in Bolshevik. Well, they only made up 5%, and that's proven fact. Not from Jewish sources, not from anti-Jewish sources, but middle ground. Not from media or anything like that. Everyone knows the media is controlled to some extent anyway, and not just by Jewish people as he claims, but by anyone in power who has their own agenda, regardless of race. Right? Now the information's out there. As far as members, founding members anyway, I think it's 1917. The information is out there. I'm not quite sure. I did read it obviously when I was typing the post to this guy, but I can't remember it now. There was 1,000 members at its peak in 1917. After that, roughly towards the end, years and years and years later, there was roughly 19,000, give or take, Jewish people in the Communism Party. That was the 5%. I don't see how 5% of any party or any group could possibly be the sole reason for that group's path. It doesn't make sense to me. The large part of that group were Russians. So I'm sorry, but the Russians had the say in that, not the Jews. Yeah, I'm sure there was a few high up. Sorry, ignore that. Yeah, I'm sure there was a few high up, powerful Jewish people, but the fact that the entire Jewish element only made up 5% says that maybe they probably weren't as powerful as this guy thinks. Now, to prove his stats, he sent me this. Well, I posted this video saying, when you consider how much of the general public have had the holy Holocaust shoved down their throats in education and media, as opposed to the horror of communism, which are largely unknown. Well, not really. I think most people pretty much know the horrors of what communism has caused over the years. Personally, me as an atheist often get told stats because, obviously, more often than not, the communist parties that do, for some reason, create large historical disasters. A lot of them are atheists. They don't do it in the name of atheism, but they are atheists. So of course I get that shoved down my throat every time I try and bring up a religious issue. That, oh, by the way, a lot of disasters were caused by atheism. It's like, no, by atheists, yes, but not by atheism. So when you say that they are largely unknown, actually no, they're not. A lot of people know about the horrors that communism has caused in the world. It's a known fact as well. Once again, I'm not quite sure if your sources are quite telling you the truth there. That's where you need to find unbiased third-party sources that tell it like it is without an agenda, which is what I was trying to explain to you. I disagree fully that the fact that it's largely unknown and never discussed, as it says here, because it is discussed, just you haven't heard about it. I don't know why. It's quite large spread, really, even though the ideology has claimed far more lives than any other in recent times. As for your comment suggesting that not many Jews were involved in the Bolshevik Revolution, words fail me at your ignorance. Try watching this video and it may enlighten you somewhat. Now, unfortunately, I'm not going to play the video because it's going to slow it down a bit, but the video was posted by somebody who I highlighted here, called White Evidence Project. Now, the guy admits to not liking Jewish people. So is it really that surprising that this guy who hates Jewish people makes a video about how the Jewish was to blame? That is what I mean when I say that that's not an unbiased source. He's biased towards hating Jews. So what I said to him was, that's no more fair and just and unbiased than if I had posted a video saying, actually you're wrong, Jewish people wasn't involved, and it was posted by a guy called I Really Love Jews. Well, of course, that's not that's not an unbiased view either. He may agree with what with what I'm trying to say, but that doesn't make it right. I believe even if I'm wrong about something, I'd rather be wrong and provide facts that prove that I'm wrong than just provide any old source that go along with what I'm saying just to make myself look right. I get things wrong. In some of my previous videos, I have apologised to people where I got it wrong. I quite enjoy finding out the truth, and not by conspiracies or anything like that, but just because that's just how life is. Sometimes you don't always get things that agree with you. This is really it for the video. It was mainly just to answer this guy because he never really understood what I was trying to say, and it's mainly to update the few people that did ask if I'm carrying on with this. So thanks for watching. UChoobeLion out.